Anyone else here a Bitcoin enthusiast like Michael Saylor, Bill Miller, or anyone else? Seems like we're not bothered. We could care less if you purchase Bitcoin in an ETF or not. What matters is who bought them. As far as I'm concerned, Bitcoin doesn't require the ETF if MicroStrategy investors purchase Bitcoin. Avoid adding it, like Bitcoin is going to hit $1 million. Fred Krueger, a mathematician, recently took a bullish position on Bitcoin in a debate, saying that the cryptocurrency may reach $1 million without an ETF, when prominent Bitcoin supporters like Michael Saylor and Bill Miller bring attention to the increasing trust and acceptance of Bitcoin, he will be one of many. With 100 million Bitcoin holders, there is clearly a sizable and growing user base. Meanwhile, Bitcoin is expected to reach $330,000 during current bull cycle, according to an article on Cointelegraph. Even if Bitcoin's price has dropped recently, independent market expert Arson is still bullish. Assuming the present bull cycle continues, we should see a substantial bounce to $330,000. According to Arson, institutional investors and market specialists, who are considered part of the smart money, have been buying Bitcoin throughout the current slump, suggesting that they are bullish on the cryptocurrency in the long run. Most market watchers are bullish on the long run, but a handful like Michael Van de Poppe and Marcus Thielen predict a temporary decline to $50,000 or $52,800 owing to negative trends. According to ABSK32, an IO expert, the market will correct until October, after which it will surge by 300% until 2026. To begin, I'll agree with you that such an application of ETH is quite rare. I understand. My next step is to utilize it as a guide. Is the data from the DApp radar anything you've ever considered? Therefore, there are a lot of these. I understand. Let's have a look at it for a day. The past 24 hours have seen 100,000 wallets engage with Ethereum. 100,000. I understand. End of story. There you have it. I understand. What these wallets are actually doing will become clearer in a moment. I understand. 30,000 of them are only going to Uniswap to trade tokens. Do you agree? We call that trading. I call that trading. I call that trading. The coins involved are mostly meme coins and others that are highly speculative, so that's trading. It isn't really accomplishing anything other than what you're implying about lending all these items. No, I'm just sort of guessing here about coins and Shiba Inus and stuff. Yes, that is precisely what it's doing. I mean, think about it. With 100,000 users every day, that's 50,000 people trading every single day. None of that matters. There isn't much meat on this beast. To put it simply, Bitcoin is a terrible coin casino. Efforts are being wasted. As ETH has been claiming, there isn't actually this massive ecosystem to top it all off. Which applications are the most popular on Ethereum? If you want me to, I can tell you. Aren't they uniswapable? Then there are OpenSea, which allow you to trade NFTs. I see. I think that's everything. We can include the loans in this. Sure, how about we just include IAV? The rest is just filler, save for those three. Like background noise. Does it really make a difference? All right, so you've got lending, NFTs, and DEX. There you have it. All of that is available on ETH. May I just mention that I have been diligently tracking these figures since 2017, all right? Well, would you believe it? That figure was 56,000 each day in 2017. I understand. 70,000. The ETH leadership will now point out that the majority of the funds have been allocated to the Arbitrum and light layer teams. And they're somewhat correct. However, the point I'm trying to make is that in relation to the real number of individuals, that is not a very large amount. I understand. Allow me to simply place this in retrospect. A minimum of 100 from what I've gathered. You think they're somewhat inactive as well? Those men are just like me. Accomplish, they really not intend to accomplish anything with the Bitcoin they purchase. Actually, I'm one of the rare Bitcoin ecosystem members who uses Bitcoin on a daily basis, so we're not. Okay? I do, since I put it to use for all these purposes. My interest is piqued, and I can assure you that I am well versed in all of this, including Bitcoin's layer 2s and DeFi. I am fully knowledgeable about it, all right? On top of that, I am well versed in all of these concepts, such OPSI TV or OPCAT. Regarding that, I am well versed. However, that will not significantly impact the acceptance of Bitcoin, will it? The truth is that Bitcoin has always been used for large transactions, and that's exactly what it is now. Therefore, between 2009 and 2013, the average size of a Bitcoin transaction was between 10 and 100 Bitcoin. It was exactly that. I understand. Bitcoin reached a value of almost $1,000 at year's end. I see. I understand. 10 Bitcoins would have cost $10,000 at that time. I see. The sums involved in each deal are thus in the thousands. Bitcoin has always been that. By 2020, that figure has dropped to an average of 1 Bitcoin per transaction, as shown from 2017 forward. Currently, the cost of a single transaction is around 0.1 Bitcoin. I see, so not much happens when you utilize Bitcoin for things like games, decks, or NFTs. By the way, ordinals are currently equal to half of Bitcoin's raw transaction volume, correct? I thought that was 6% of Bitcoin before, right? The figures were reviewed by me 1 week ago. It amounts to a mere 6% of Bitcoin then. For the time being, I've got some money. And that's basically how Bitcoin works. Getting it out of the financial system is my goal. Getting it out of the banking system is my goal. For the time being, I just want to park it somewhere and then take it elsewhere. It's for that purpose. This power law, allow me to explain it. There are 2 dimensions to this power law, aren't there? And I'm showing Bitcoin's price on the vertical axis, but it's plotted on a logarithmic basis, isn't it? Yeah, I understand. Also, I'm planning. Plus, I'm proficient in the use of log charts. Very much so. On the other hand, this isn't your average log chart. I'm looking at a log chart. A logarithmic scale is also used for the time. Sure, we're also well versed in it. Perfect, no problem. The green line represents a trend, so keep that in mind, I understand. An R-squared value of 95.6% is dependent on this trend line. It will continue till it stops. Very well. Between the time Bitcoin was worth 10 cents and now, when it's about 100,000, its R-squared value is 96%, which spans 6 orders of magnitude. I understand. Having a doctorate in mathematics, all I can say is that you will never see a chart like that with those kinds of figures anywhere. No one can look at the green line and ignore this graph, can they? The red line serves as a support, and it's around 1 standard deviation in log space behind the green line. In other words, it's only a model. As time goes on, more and more people are starting to use Bitcoin, all right? So I'll pick you up if you look at the number of people purchasing Bitcoin over time. The number of Bitcoin holders as a function of time, seen here in log space, is fine. Over time, it correlates with 98% accuracy. Do you understand what that means? What this means is that the number of people purchasing Bitcoin is growing exponentially. Bitcoin is being purchased in both good and bad markets. As a result, it is more than just a theoretical framework. The association between fruit flies and the price of Bitcoin is something we've recently uncovered when tracking fruit flies. Nope. We have this crystal clear model showing that Bitcoin is being purchased. I could do $100 1 Bitcoin, $1,000 or 10 Bitcoins right now. Any of these things is within my capabilities. I'm familiar with power outages, all right? Therefore, Bitcoin's adoption has occurred.